It's Memorial Day, and if you're open today, you're already running leaner than usual. Good. It's a good day to think, not just work. 3 stories worth knowing before summer fully kicks in. I'm Drew. This is Main Street Operator. If you haven't revisited your pricing since the first quarter, here's what you missed while you were busy running your operation. KPMG surveyed U.S. businesses this spring and found that 55% of them plan to raise prices up to 15% over the next 6 months. The share of companies already passing more than half their tariff-driven cost increases onto customers has jumped from 13% a year ago to 34% today. That is a fundamental shift in what the market is being conditioned to accept. Here's the part that translates to your operation specifically. Non-durable goods, food, paper products, apparel, the stuff your customers buy regularly, are projected to rise 5.6% this year. Durable goods, tools, small appliances, electronics, are expected up 4.5%. If your suppliers have already passed their cost increases onto you and you haven't passed them forward, you are currently absorbing costs your competitors have already priced into their invoices. The concrete action this week: go line by line through your 3 highest volume product or service categories and find where your cost has moved and your price hasn't. Build a Q3 price adjustment and communicate it to your customers now, before peak summer spending ends, with a short note that ties the increase to real cost pressures rather than a vague market conditions explanation. That transparency is what keeps long-term customer relationships intact when numbers go up. Second story. The NFIB released its April small business optimism data last week, and the headline number, 95.9, looks almost fine. It's not. It's below the 52-year average of 98.0 for the second consecutive month. More telling is the uncertainty index, which sits at 88 against a historical average of 68. That gap tells you that independent business owners, as a group, don't know what the next 12 months look like. And it's showing up in delayed hiring and stalled capital investment across the country. For operators who are in decent shape right now, this environment actually creates an opening. SBA 7A variable loan rates are currently running 9.75 to 13.25%, based on a prime rate of 6.75% as of this month. Not historically cheap, but available. And bank credit standards have not yet tightened the way they do when conditions deteriorate and lenders get nervous. The operators who end up starved for capital in a slowdown are almost always the ones who came looking after their numbers were already sliding, not the ones who lined up credit while their books still looked healthy. If you have a capital need in the next 12 to 18 months, equipment, a vehicle, a build-out, a second location, start a pre-qualification conversation with an SBA lender or your credit union this week. Your books look good right now. That is the best possible time to have that conversation. Third story. Since 2022, private equity has acquired nearly 800 HVAC, plumbing, and electrical companies in the United States. There are 27 active PE roll-up platforms in HVAC alone right now. Blackstone recently agreed to pay approximately $2.5 billion for Champions Group, a residential trades consolidator based in Orange County, California, at about 18.5 times EBITDA. Multiples for smaller regional operations with solid recurring service contract revenue are running 4 to 7 times. If you're in the trades, auto repair, pest control, dental, veterinary care, or commercial landscaping, someone with serious capital is currently watching your sector. This is not speculative. It is current activity, and it is accelerating. What this means if you're staying independent: your competition just got better funded. PE-backed platforms have national marketing, centralized purchasing, and branded fleets. They also have problems you can exploit. Technicians leave when a call center replaces the local dispatcher they trusted. Customer satisfaction drops when service is scripted instead of personal. In markets where PE has moved in, the operators who are winning are doing the one thing the roll-ups cannot replicate: relationships. Actual relationships, where your customers know who to call and that person knows their name and their service history. The action this week: clean up your Google business profile and make sure your review count reflects the quality of work you have been putting out. When a customer breaks from a PE-backed competitor, and they do, the first thing they do is search. Be the obvious next call. Summer is when margin is built or lost. Those 3 moves can shift which side you end up on. Friday, I have the story of what happened when an independent HVAC operator in Columbus got the offer he had spent 12 years working toward, and what he learned in the 14 months after he signed, plus a tool that is cutting scheduling time for hourly crews from hours down to minutes. I'm Drew. This is Main Street Operator.